for a new edition of Inside the Huddle right here on High School Cube News. Brian Chimino with Mike Clark of the Sun-Times and Beth Long of Fox Sports and Scout.com. Week number 3 in the books, and it was another crazy one, especially when you look at the Catholic League Blue Division. For the second time in the last 3 weeks, number 1 goes down, this time Loyola to Brother Rice for the first time since 2008. The final score in that one, 16-13.
Yeah, that was an interesting game, tough night for everybody with the weather and everything, and of course Loyola coming down from the North Shore to the south side. Friday night traffic not too great, but I mean they're not going to use that as an excuse. Brother Rice defense just really did a nice job on Loyola. Rice didn't generate a ton of offense. They got 3 field goals. Rice thought that this was going to be kind of a breakout year for them. They had a really good year at the lower levels last year. They've got a D1 kid in Marcus Jones. Their quarterback is a veteran in Alex Alarcon.
And can anybody stop the passing attack of the Providence Celtics, rolling past Mount Carmel 33-14? Justin Hunterford, 3 more touchdown passes, 2 of those to Miles Boykin.
Props to Mark Coglianese, the Providence coach, for basically revamping his offense this year. Like most of the Catholic Blue teams, Providence has been a run-first team over the years, but when you got a couple of guys like Miles Boykin and Nate Vovoda, who are basically college-type receivers playing in high school, it's kind of hard not to go with them. They've got the senior quarterback as well with Justin Hunterford, and they've got a running back in Richie Warfield who can kind of mix it up a little bit. So, I mean, Providence, I liked them early at the beginning of the season. Some other people had some questions about their O-line or about their defense, but I mean, their defense has been pretty good too, and maybe the biggest untold story so far this year.
And Justin Hunterford, a Player of the Year candidate possibly. He's having a great start.
It's probably time to start thinking about Players of the Year candidates. Justin Hunterford has thrown, I think, 1 pick so far, and he's, been really managing the game very well. He's got 2 great targets to throw to, but one of the things that Coach Coglianese told me is that he's making good decisions as well. And there's another quarterback out there who's another Player of the Year candidate, and Dwayne Collins from Phillips, who really had a statement game on Saturday at Lane when they beat Naperville North 40-7. Collins had 3 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. I don't understand, Beth, why there's not more interest in him. I mean, he's got state champion relay speed that he proved last spring. He's not a small kid, but there just doesn't seem to be many colleges looking at him.
You're right, he's not a small kid. He's 6'2". He's actually like exactly what you look for in a quarterback. I think the question with him was, we know he can run, can he throw? And that's what I think that he is proving this season. And obviously he can run. Like you said, he was the anchor on a state championship 4x200 team. That being said, there are some colleges in on him. A lot of the MAC is in on him and really likes him. But for most MAC schools, they don't want to take a quarterback really early, and so they're going to depend on senior film, and that's going to be where Collins is going to have his bread and butter, I think. And I just do not foresee that he does not end up playing somewhere in college. He's way too talented.
And it was a great weekend for the public league. Not only Phillips, but Simeon had a nice win over Wheaton North, 14-9.
Wheaton North is a little bit down this year. They lost Clayton Thorson, who was their great quarterback last year. They're 0-3. They're a really tough 0-3. One of their other losses was to Cary Grove, which is a top 5 team. But, it speaks well for the public league that Simeon and Phillips came out with these wins, certainly.
So already week 4 coming up, and the big prediction for me for week 4, we're going to have good weather. No more rain, no lightning. Let's have clear weather this Friday night. And we talk about big ones. Let's look at Catholic League Blue once again. Mount Carmel at St. Rita, who's 3-0. We mentioned last week we thought St. Rita would be down a little bit this year.
Maybe a better way to put it would be people didn't really know what they had. I mean, Tyree Lee, their running back, was coming off an injury. He's been great this year. Their defense has been very good. Mount Carmel, this is a big game for them, no doubt about it. I mean, they don't want to go to 0-2 in the conference and 1-3 overall. That would be a pretty tough hole to dig out of. I don't think there's a sense of panic there because they don't do that at Mount Carmel, but there's certainly a sense of urgency for this week.
Another big one up in the North Suburban Conference Lake Division, your new #1 team in the Super 25. That's the Stevenson Patriots. They'll be hosting another undefeated team, the 3-0 Lake Forest Scouts.
Lake Forest, is probably one of the more overlooked good programs in the area. I mean, year after year, they're right there. I mean, they've made some deep runs in the playoffs lately. They're a 6A team playing in basically an 8A conference. They do a great job year after year. The personnel seems to change, but their level of success doesn't. And this is going to be a good test for them, certainly. Stevenson's got kind of an MO this year of falling behind early and then coming back. There's something to be said for being able to pull those games out. They've done it the last 2 weeks against Homewood Flossmoor and against Warren. Willie Bourbon, is just a really steady, consistent quarterback for them.
And Saturday in the East Suburban Catholic Conference, you have Marion Central at number 13 Nazareth.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one. I'm looking forward to seeing this game because Marion Central is a new member of the East Suburban Catholic. They've got a really good quarterback, which is nothing new for them. They've got a guy named Billy Ball, which is a great football name, obviously. He's getting some interest, too. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do against Nazareth's defense, which is pretty strong. Nazareth also has a very diverse running game.
And before we wrap the show up this week, Beth with her weekly recruiting notes.
The biggest recruiting information this week is that Richards wide receiver Spencer Tiers, back on the field after being ineligible for a few weeks this past week, also picked up another offer from Syracuse. The Qs once again coming back in the Chicago area. Seems to like the offer, says he'll visit, so we'll see what's going on there. A couple other uncommitted seniors of note. One of them, Kyle Pugh, just took an official to Northern Illinois. That seemed to go well. He's got offers from Northern Illinois, Syracuse, lots of other schools across the MAC as well. Doesn't seem to be deciding anytime soon, but you never know with these seniors because sometimes they decide they want to get it out of the way. Lake Forest Academy's defensive tackle Wes Anon, another kid who's got offers from lots of schools in the ACC, several in the Big Ten, still says not ready to decide yet, also hasn't set any visits, but those are names to watch as we move forward. And this week's MVP is a kid we've talked about quite a bit on Inside the Huddle, Miles Boykin. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
And that'll do it for this week on Inside the Huddle. Check the Super 25 out on the website. More shuffling going on. For Mike Clark and Beth Long, I'm Brian Chimino. We'll see you next week.